Hey, what's up, Hope Shot family? Welcome back to Sunday Night Topics Live. And I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and spent time with their family and friends. I know we did. We had a great Christmas spending time. We actually got to meet up with Nate and Johnny and Lisa, not Caesar, but that's okay. I'm going to have Tiffany read the Hope Shot Clarity Statement.
We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common: recovery as a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. Thank you for being a part of the Hope Shot family.
Thanks, Tiffany. So tonight we're gonna do a topic. Tonight we do topics every Sunday. We come up with a topic and it sets the tone for the week ahead. And tonight, being it's Christmas and being accountable, that's definitely something in recovery that we have to practice. I know most of us, when I was in my addiction, I didn't know what the word accountability meant. So I make sure that my recovery, I'm definitely accountable, and I show up when I show up, and I do what I say I'm going to do. What's up, Melissa? Merry Christmas to you too. Trish, Merry Christmas to you. Hey, what's up, Donna? Hope you had a Merry Christmas. And we got Verna. I hope I say that right. Good evening. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. And so tonight I am going to get Lisa and Johnny, since we were talking about the topic. And, we both had a little instance of accountability this weekend where we kind of are on the same page, So you guys want to go ahead and start it off tonight?
Why don't you ask him?
What was it about?
Oh my God. Being accountable.
Just in general, but you said this weekend. I'm like, what happened this weekend?
Oh, well, what you're the one that talked about, what was it, Friday? There people, being accountable.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all.
That just never mind then.
So hey everyone, I'm Lisa. There was a few of us at in a group talking about accountability and what was the word that we talked about? I can't remember. So I'm just gonna go off on my own thing. So like when I think of accountability, I like go back to being accountable for my actions. When I first came in, I didn't want to take responsibility for, the wreckage of my past and all the stuff that I did. And then once I started like opening up to my higher power and building a relationship with him and other people and other women, that's when I started like realizing like, okay, I think I need to take responsibility and be accountable for what I've done in the past. I think accountability has a lot there's so much that, that it entails. But I think that for me, accountability is just being true to yourself. It's being true to the people around you, and being responsible for like everything you got going on in life. What were we talking about the other day? On Friday. And God, it was so good. Commitments, accountability and commitments. I think that, owning what you say you're going to do and doing what you say you're going to do, that builds integrity. I think that in the beginning, we tend to like want to take everything on and build our life from like nothing to everything in a matter of a week. And that's just not possible, but it is possible, like in time, I think that, doing what you say you're going to do, that builds integrity, that builds who who you're going to be and who you are, like, truly. I don't know. Can I come back? Because, like, it totally caught me off guard. Like, I won't, yeah. All right, you're next.
I did catch you off guard.
No, you're good.
Hi guys, Johnny here. So accountability, man, for me is kind of been like something that I'm still learning. You know, and all those things that she just shared about, they all go hand in hand in one way or another. You know, concerning our lives and recovery and putting the adult suit on and all those things that we always talk about, man. And I needed, you know, early on and still to today, at this very day, I need people in my life to hold me accountable, because if I don't have that, you know, I'm a creature of habit, and I can easily slide back into, you know, filling my plate up real quick and allowing things to slide off. And I just had this recently with a family member. You know, I feel like in this thing, man, once you're in a couple of years and your life is somewhat established a little bit, you know, we want to start, you know, like just recently I took on a few commitments, man, and I'm realizing now that, you know, my plate is over full, and I've, you know, put myself in a position where I've had to, like, you know, do some stuff that I wasn't comfortable with and that I'm cleaning up now because, you know, of my own making. I took on too much, you know. Just for example, like I have a commitment at the prison. I go out there 4 times a month. We share a meeting on Thursdays. I'm working with a couple of guys. I'm in college. I work full time. So that's like, you know, and I had some commitments that I had made to a family member, and I wasn't able to, you know, uphold them to the fullest. So, you know, like I said, man, I'm learning every day. I'm thankful that I have the opportunity to clean up my mess, although I don't like making messes anymore. You know, I'm lucky that I have people in my life on this journey with me that will tell me, like, hey, man, it looks like you may have a little bit too much on your plate. And I need that in my life, because I would keep trucking and I would probably keep putting stuff on my plate, you know, because that's how we are. We want to take on the world. And so I'm learning as I go, man. I'm grateful that I can, I know if I don't remain teachable, I'm screwed. I don't do any of this stuff perfect, man. I do it to the best of my ability, man. And when I slip, I have people surrounded, you know, I'm surrounded by people who will pull me up or let me know, like, hey, man, looks like, you know, you're slipping off. And I'm able to regroup and take a look at some of this stuff, just like I had to do recently, you know, and I have to reprioritize what's important in my life right now so it doesn't affect anybody else, you know. But the coolest part about all that is that I get the chance to do it. You know what I mean? You know, I didn't get to see my sisters and my nephew this Christmas, and that's okay. I'm sure I'll see them soon. But, you know, as a whole, man, I'm just so grateful that I get to have these opportunities to learn, right? Tomorrow, I get to wake up and do it all again if I continue to do the right thing, you know? So that's all I got now. I might come on back, but love you guys. I'm going to pass it to Jay, whoever you like, Nathan.
Thanks, Johnny. Yeah, we'll definitely come back. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
So let me read a few comments. We got Nate on here. Much love. Sober Christmas was amazing. So blessed to finally see the light in this dark world. 6 years sober and never looking back. Thankful and blessed. Congrats, Nate, on 6 years. And then we got Joe. We got Joe from Dayton Strong Recovery 101. Accountability helps us to stay on track and keep our focus on the things that matter. For anyone in recovery, that truly matters and is an addiction-free life filled with positivity and health. I'll just go ahead and share, man, and get it out of the way. But accountability, and this is like, you know, in the beginning, I didn't know what accountability really was. I wasn't accountable to myself, to anybody else. So when you first get into recovery, you know, it's like I needed as much accountability as possible in order to make sure that I stay straight. That means like when I first got here, I threw myself into outpatient treatment because, you know, that's a lot of accountability. You know, they do, you know, they piss test you to make sure you're accountable to yourself. And then also like, going to meetings and getting a support group and all that, because they'll keep you being accountable to yourself as well. You know, and the biggest thing these days is like saying what I mean, doing what I say and saying what I do, like having my feet match my mouth, you know, because if I out there just saying, yeah, I'll show up, and I'm not being able to fulfill certain things, you know, like Johnny was saying, like if I can't fulfill commitments, man, if I put too much on my plate, like I was going to cook freaking Christmas dinner, but I decided not to because I knew that my life would be unmanageable. You know what I mean? And like, so because I had to, I got to set up a swing set for my kids for Christmas, man. And I knew it was going to take some work, and I didn't want to make Christmas a freaking disaster fiasco, you know, all about me. So I was like, yo, let's just order Christmas dinner and make it easy. You know what I mean? Instead of freaking me being a freaking hot mess and just stressing out, you know, because that's exactly what I'll do, because I'm a people pleaser. I am a people pleaser, and I will tell everybody yes until I'm depleted of all of me. You know what I mean? And listen, I love cooking. It's like one of those things, man, putting on some freaking R&B music and listening and cooking, bro. Like that's the real soul food right there. I love it. Like I literally love to do that. It's like my happy place, man. I love food. And that's, you know, I gotta figure that one out too. You know what I mean? But like, you know, I have to say no sometimes, you know, because it's hard to fulfill all those commitments and putting so much on my plate, you know. As I always say, like, and I was reading one of the daily meditations today. It's like putting all your eggs in one basket, you know what I mean? And like there for a long time, my focus was all about the drugs. I was focused on getting and using and finding my drug and using, you know what I mean? That was my focus. And like, I didn't care about anything else that stood in my way. I'd get to that. So now when I got in recovery, man, my focus was on recovery, and I was buck wild into it at first. And like, I would do everything possible. I would say yes to everything. I would do whatever. And now that I've gotten some time, it's kind of like slowed down a little bit to where it's not like my prime focus. Now it's like, we could split it up a little bit. But when I first got in here, man, that was my whole focus, is because I didn't know how to freaking live a life. I didn't have a life, you know? But that wouldn't happen if I didn't do what I needed to do in the beginning and put myself in outpatient treatment and freaking do the 90 and 90. You know what I mean? That 90 and 90 was like, that was what I needed, because that's how I met all the people that I have in my support group. If I can't, like, that's how I met people to be able to keep me accountable to myself. And now that I can, they'll call me on my bullshit every single time. Like they'll tell me when I'm being a freaking maniac, when I can't see it, because I'm the last person that ever fucking knows about anything. I'm the last person, you know, when I'm miserable or when I'm freaking being a maniac, and these people are like, yo, you're kind of being a freaking crazy person right now. So that happened to me this year, you know, I was a freaking mess, you know, and it's like, these people tell me when I'm being a freaking lunatic. Because it can happen. Just because I remove the drugs and alcohol don't mean I'm not a lunatic. I'm a freaking nut, you know? And I like me like that, but not like crazy, you know? So yeah, man, showing up and saying what you're going to do is huge for me as well. You know, if I tell you I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there these days, you know, no matter what. And I'm very big on that. Showing up on time is huge for me too. Showing up on time. And yeah, that's huge, you know, because I remember a lot of times I used to be late for everything, you know, except for dinner. I'm never late for dinner, but as I said, but you know, I always used to be late, man, for work. I used to lose every job I ever used to work at, man. I would be fired or whatever, and I always blamed it on them. Like, this dude's a douche, you know, but it was always me. It was me. I didn't know how to be on time or do a good job or anything, you know? So it's huge for me these days, you know? All I have is my word. I got to be a man of integrity, you know? And what does that mean? It means pretty much that, being accountable, you know? Even when no one's there or no one's looking. When I'm by myself, I can be accountable to myself, you know what I mean? Because I'm gonna find out. You know what I mean? I used to say, oh, nobody's gonna know. I can just take a drink or do this or do that. I'm gonna know now, you know? But it took a lot of years of having those people, man, you know? So that's all I got for that. And I think I'll pass it over on to Nate Dogg.
What up? All right. Okay, so accountability. Merry Christmas to everybody watching, to all my peeps, man. It was a magical one. I appreciate all the love and you know, y'all including me with your families, making those memories. That's means a lot to me, and I don't take it lightly, I assure you. Yeah, so I'm like, I come into this deal. I was like the king of broken promises, man. You know, I just continuously and perpetually let people down. That's all I did. I would never show up, and if I did show up, I'd just bring drama and chaos, and yeah, and that does something to you. Like, you know, that does something to your self-worth, your self-esteem, because you start seeing yourself through the eyes of others, and then you'll start creating this narrative, and you start really living up to it. You know, I just accepted that, you know, I was going to ruin Christmas, that I was going to ruin, you know, events, that, you know, people didn't want me there. And yeah, I kind of perpetuated that illusion for so many years. And yeah, so yeah, like I didn't know, like, you know, accountability was like a fancy word, you know, like what does that word mean? I know the definition. I could, you know, I know I get it in different contexts. I understand what the word means, but I had no idea of how to like live it or what it meant, you know, to be accountable, you know. And that's why I always stress this and emphasize this as much as possible, is how important it is to connect with a certain group of people once you get into this deal. And when I say a certain group of people, you know, I mean, like, because it's, you know, this recovery deal, there's certain groups and, you know, crowds, and you know, there's some people that you know, it might be okay for you to pick up the newcomer and bang her. You know what I mean? It might be cool with certain people on this side, but I'm so blessed that I got with some people that showed me what being accountable meant, because I had to see it. You know what I mean? And because I had no frame of reference, and so I get a sponsor in this deal. I get honest with them. I do this work. I go through, I'm sorry, my dog's going crazy. So yeah, hold on one sec.
He just wanted to share, bro. That's all. He just wanted to share a little bit.
Okay. All right, we're back. Let's see if he chills out. All right. See, yeah, so I get here. I get honest with the sponsor, man. I plug into the whom I believe in, whatever that looks like. And some things start to happen, you know, because I'll tell you, I needed I needed to be on probation. I needed to be in treatment when I first got sober. I needed like that little bit of accountability. I had, because it showed me, how to show up, and be a responsible adult, because I had no idea how to do this. I had no clue. I never successfully finished probation. I never successfully finished treatment. I never got honest with this. I never did any of these things. So there's, no military secret why I kept relapsing and ended up in prison, and once I started to one by one check these off my list, not that I had a list, but maybe a subconscious one, like, holy shit, I just finished treatment. Holy shit, I got my first year. Holy shit, I just got off probation. All these things that I thought were insurmountable. And I always said, oh, probation's a trap, man. They just want our money. All these things, like, these fantasies that I used to tell myself, and just send me to prison, bro. I don't want no probation. Anyway, so yeah, I start, showing up and knocking these things out, IOP, outpatient treatment, these classes, and all these things, man. And something happens, you start to have this sense of accomplishment. And one of the coolest things about recovery is, I start being accountable, not only, in my recovery circle and in my community, but especially with my family and friends, which, if you guys were anything like me, I've completely destroyed my family dynamic. My family dynamic was so toxic and polluted by the time I got to recovery, and for so many years prior to it, that like there was a lot of amends to be made. There was a lot of repairs that had to be done, and there's some things that I had to let go of because I couldn't make the amends. How could I be accountable to my mother when she's not with me anymore? These are things that I had to discover. So here I am now. I'm showing up in my family's life, and with recovery. I'm taking commitments. I'm doing whatever I need to do. So what starts to happen is see how rigid and kind of strict my first couple years were with first treatment, outpatient treatment, with probation, like it's slowly getting me to a point where now here I am. I'm free. I have no ties to any state or anything like that. But what happens when I keep continuing to do this work and connect, on a daily basis to my source and to my fellowship, this is like where the magic unfolds, man. Like, I have people that, when I'm unable to see my own bullshit, I have a group of guys and women sometimes that are going to be like, listen, you're with the bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, and for example, this is me nearly 4 years sober the other day. And one of my customers calls me and he's like, hey man, how's the property looking? And blah, 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 small talk. And then he's like, hey, by the way, can you give me some green? And I'm like, what, like weed? I'm like, I'll see what I can do, because yes, I'm still a people pleaser. I want to make this guy happy. I don't want to lose a customer, make him feel weird or anything. Like, I'm the weird recovery guy. And I immediately regress back into that old behavior. You know what I mean? And then like, I'm like sitting here, I'm like entertaining the idea, and I feel all ugly inside. And I'm like, man, what the fuck, man? And then he shoots me a text. He's like, oh, maybe you could get me some white too. And I'm like, boom, red flags, man. Alarms are going off. And I'm like, whoa. And I sent him a message right away. I'm like, look, bro, I'm in recovery, man. I'm a recovering heroin addict, bro. I can't help you. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? No disrespect, blah, blah, blah. I hope you find what you're looking for, yada, yada, yada. And immediately, because I know how this process works, I call like 5 different people. You know what I mean? Because I need to be held accountable. I can't hold that, secret, or, those fantasies, those ideas, or that behavior that I just regressed to back like in an instant, And I just immediately, naturally, without hesitation, called like a few different people, my network, and just told them. And it was a great lesson. I was humbled. I can practice humility today because I know I'm still a fucking mess. B, I see that, that I have this beautiful network of people that are just fucking always there for me, and that hold me accountable. And most importantly was that feeling inside. That's me being accountable to my source, to who I believe in. I don't have room for the nonsense today. I don't have room for that negativity, for that, and I'll immediately physically feel uncomfortable. And that's how my higher power holds me accountable. Like I will have a physical or emotional, reaction when something is off. And and when I don't have that feeling, then my source, my God, works through you guys. You guys are the messengers, and you tell me, hey, Nate, but this is only works if I continue to do the very simple things that I did when I first got sober. That, when I was in these situations, in these treatment centers, and I was like, all I heard was all these stupid ass rules, man, all these, why are they having us do this shit? And I don't know, I got to a point of utter desperation and surrender to where I was willing to do whatever anybody said, however trivial or absurd the rules or mandates seemed. I just knew that whatever I had going on kept ending me up in prison or in a hospital bed dying, and I was just willing to do anything. And once I started doing the things that were suggested, my entire life changed. And now, my whole recovery, my entire recovery, my happiness, my joy hinges off this accountability to, first and foremost, my source. And then secondly, my network, my fellowship, and my friends, because if I don't have that, I'm just doing the same thing I was before I get here. I'm all by myself. I'm running on my own will, my own ideas. And so I think being accountable is super important. And Justin, you said it great, man. I'm super proud of you, bro. When you said, you got to, even when you're alone, man, that's when it's most important. And that's why it's most important to have that connection to your source, because that is usually sometimes the only defense between you and doing something stupid, and thankfully today, I have that relationship, and it's not only with my higher power, with my source, my God, whatever you want to call it, but with these guys that you're seeing on the screen right now, that, I can call any of these people in any minute, any day, no matter where they're at, what they're doing, and they will always be there. And guess what? I'll do the same for them. And that type of accountability in my life, I never had. I never had those types of friendships, those bonds that I never was trusted or relied on for anything. And that does something to somebody, man. That connection, plugging into that type of power, not only outside of us, but within as well. And then with my fellows, I wouldn't trade that for any high or any fucking good time in the world, man. It's something magical. And I pray, if you're new here, if you're, haven't dove head first into this whole process, that you truly go out there and search for this, man, because, I couldn't even conceive of trading it for anything. And these holidays are hard for me, man. Holidays are hard for me. I don't have my daughter. I lost my mom. My dad's here. He's struggling. I'm trying to hold him down and be supportive for him. And, I have to be strong, but, it's difficult for me too. But then I put that on my people, and my people invite me into their homes on Christmas Day with their daughters, and they're running up and they're hugging me, and they love to see me. And it's, let me cry. Let me stop. This shit's magical, man. And it's just from me connecting and becoming vulnerable and saying, hey, I'm not okay, or whatever. Or if I feel like I'm okay, my friends call me on my bullshit and be like, Nate, what's wrong? I can tell, and it's just, yeah, this thing's magical. I pray that you guys had a not only get an opportunity to plug into this, but can experience this level of connection that I do on a daily basis. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love you guys. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. So grateful for every one of you guys.
Thanks, Nate. And it's good to have you over for Christmas, man. I think it was a good day. You came over and then we went up and surprised Johnny and Lisa. It's cool, man.
And I was thinking that too. I saw I saw that picture with you guys up in Ocala, and I'm like, man, we have a great family. Us, our Hope Shot family. You know what I mean? It is something special, man.
It reminded me of like Tag You're It. Nate was over at Caesars, at Justin's, and then Justin came up to our house. All right, who's gonna get picked next?
Yeah. Hey, listen, but I was like, dude, it was like I was 30 minutes away. And that's the thing. It's like, I mean, dude, we just want to surprise our friends for Christmas and just say hi.
Like, I was sitting there and I see Tiffany. I didn't see you. I saw Tiffany with the kids, and I'm like, wait, am I seeing this? Like walking up, and then I saw you ahead of her. I'm like, yeah, the freaking tell, man.
It's pretty cool,
That
dude.
was the best.
I'm gonna read a couple comments real quick. We got Sonia. She said, "Love y'all. Been watching y'all since April 25th. I think that's when we started doing these.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sonia, for the support, man. We're always much appreciated the support. That's awesome. We got Stephanie. She said, "What a great share, Justin. I relate to everything you shared. Thanks, guys, for doing this." We got Rachel in his house.
Hey, Rachel.
I am only as strong as a recovering addict to my left and to my right. I am incredibly grateful for my seat in the middle of the boat and for the ones closest to me who are unafraid to keep me accountable and point out the things I am unwilling to see, but pose real danger to my progress and in my personal recovery. And that's the thing, man. We need those people to speak up, because not a lot of times, man, some people won't speak up. And it's also us being able to speak out for ourselves as well and reach out to somebody when we're like, oh, nobody wants to hear my problems and da-da. Then this is the times to actually reach out and say something, because when we're struggling, we all struggle at different times. I'm glad it's not the same day, though. You know what I mean? But yeah, imagine if we were all struggling on the same day. It'd be a shit show in here.
What you needed, somebody else would have, and what that person needed, somebody else would have.
Exactly. Exactly. And we rely on our people. We got Dustin. I'm grateful to have people in my life that will hold me accountable today, and none of that matters if I don't hold myself accountable too, and that's facts. Trish, I'm struggling hard with the family stuff. No one else got sober, but I'm still treated as I need to make it all right. It stinks. Yeah, that family dynamic sometimes is hard. It really is, especially when we have like the wreckage of our past,
Just make sure you stay connected to your people in your circle of recovery so they can help support you through that.
Exactly. Jamie, hey y'all, just returned from the East Coast. Hope y'all's holidays were magical as fuck. AF, I'm sorry. Phil, he says, so proud of y'all. And I know he said up here somewhere about what's up, Johnny and Lisa. Yes. Anyway, so I don't know. I was going to either pass it over to Caesar or Johnny Trish, and Lisa can.
Hold on one second. Trish,
wait.
I don't have people yet. Trish, if you send us a message on Facebook, maybe we can help get you connected.
Yes, Trish, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, reach out to us. We're always here. If anybody's ever struggling, like we're here. We're at ear. We're here for anybody that's on this platform that needs somebody at the time they're in crisis, or maybe just need to talk or vent or whatever.
I'm connected like the mafia, so we'll get you plugged in.
You're connected to cannolis, dude.
We can definitely help you get some good people in your life.
So I'm gonna let Caesar take this one off, and then you guys can finish it up.
Thank you, sir. I was waiting so patiently.
I know.
So I Googled the word accountability because, there might be somebody that's watching that doesn't know. And an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or to account for one's actions. Wow, that is the exact opposite of anything that I wanted to do when I first came in here. I didn't want to be held responsible for anything I did because it was everybody else's fault. I was a victim of circumstance, or at least that's what I believed. And, before I found recovery, my word was garbage. My word wasn't worth a pile of dog crap. I would tell you whatever you wanted to hear to get what I wanted. And Nate touched on it. Accountability for me, I was held accountable by the Department of Corrections. I was held accountable in the rehab that I went to after the Department of Corrections. Then by a probation officer after that. So I didn't have the self-accountability. I learned it along the way. And my sponsor said, your word is all you have. And that hit home for me because when I got out of the rehab, I had $60 and some rehab clothes that I got out of the indigent closet. Literally, my word was all I had. I moved into a new community and nobody knew my past. And I didn't want them to know the old Caesar. I wanted to build a new perception of me. So, being responsible, saying what I mean, and doing what I say was like the foundation for that. If I say I'm going to show up, I show up. If I say I'm going to come and meet you and read, I show up to that. Anything I say I'm going to do, I absolutely back that up because over time, people have come to rely on the fact that when I say I'm going to be there, I'm absolutely going to be there. Nobody questions it. That's the only Caesar they know at this point. And it feels good. It feels good to be trusted. I remember at the clubhouse that I got sober and they gave me the key and they told me, hey, go make coffee. Get in there at 9 o'clock in the morning before the 10 o'clock meeting and make coffee. Here's the code to the door. And I was like, whoa, you're going to give me the code to the door? Do you know who you're giving the code to? But, that's a product of being responsible. It's a product of accountability. I've always had a group of people from early recovery to now. That group has changed and morphed, but I've had people that will hold me accountable and tell me when I'm screwing up or tell me when I'm taking on too much or talking too big. You're like, hey, buddy, your ass ain't going to be able to back that up. You're writing checks that you can't possibly cash. And I need those people in my life. Today, I can't. My wife just raised her hand and said, it's me. No, today, I'm good about it. I don't overcommit. I don't run my mouth and say yes to everything because I have the freedom to say no. I don't have to say yes to every single little thing. I don't have to people please. But at the same time, I still have that core group of people that I check in with on a daily basis, the people I call when I'm feeling crazy. And it's a two-way street with the accountability. People hold you accountable, you hold them accountable. And at the same time, a few people talked about integrity. And when nobody's around, I'm accountable to my God. My God sees all, knows all. It's not like I'm going to sneak one in on God. Like, believe me, I've thought that way before, like if I just turn my back, you don't see me, I don't see you, you do godly things, I do Caesar things. Let's just, just pretend like we don't see each other. But that's not my beliefs today. My belief is that I have a higher power in my life that's with me always and wants nothing but good things for me. In order for me to get those good things and those gifts, I got to do good things. I got to put the work in. I got to show up for other people. And when I'm more worried about other people than I am about my own little problems, that God's in the back just kind of sewing up my little BS problems. My things that I think are big, they're just being fixed in the background while I'm focused on helping somebody else. It's a big thing. The integrity is a big piece of it. When nobody's looking, what are you doing? Are you cutting corners at work? Are you screwing off? Are you going to get weed for the guy who you're doing the landscaping for? I know you didn't, but you know what I mean? But it's a relapse is not like one jump, like, oh man, I used. It's this slippery slope of one decision at a time, one compromise at a time. I don't need to make the meeting. And I know I told him I'd read tonight, but I'd rather go to bed early. I don't need to answer the phone. And one after another, it builds up to, I could probably take one drink. Nobody knows. I'm out of town this week. I could probably do one, and I don't want to risk any of that. So I get way back in front of that, and I just do what I say, and I say what I mean. And I stay accountable to the circle in my life, and I stay accountable to my God. And that's made my life beautiful. Do I like when somebody calls me out on my bullshit? No, I don't like that shit. But and my wife's over there going, but I need that. And I've gotten a lot more comfortable hearing somebody tell me that. I can take constructive criticism. When we come in, we are defensive. We are thin-skinned. You can't tell us anything. We want to fight at the drop of a hat. If you look at me wrong, oh man, you're making fun of me. Super thin-skinned, just children. We talk about the adult suit. Johnny mentioned it. But really, when we come in, we're hurt children that are offended by everything. We stick around long enough to get thick skin and a soft heart, where we care more about others than we do about ourselves. And that's a miracle, because I was selfish to the core. I did not give a shit about anybody else but myself. And I've got this group of people that today I would give the shirt off my back. I would lay down in front of a car for. I mean, I care deeply about people today when I never did in my life. And that's only the result of doing work and getting honest with somebody and telling them what I went through. Writing my story down, sharing it with somebody, not having any secrets, making right the wrongs so that I can hold my head up high, walk around the streets, not look over my shoulder, and not feel like a piece of shit, because guilt and shame is no good for us. Guilt and shame is, just take the two words, is excuse one and excuse two of why I need to use. And by going through this process, I don't have the guilt and shame. I don't have the excuses. All I've got is a reason to wake up every day and try to be better than I was the day before. Try to be a little kinder. To be a better employee, to be a better father, to be a better husband. And when I'm failing at that, or when I'm getting batshit crazy, I lean on my friends to hold me accountable and say, hey man, that's not how we act in recovery. Maybe you need to pray on that, or think about that, or talk about that. And when I do, and when I don't keep it between my ears, when I share it, the problem goes away quick. If I keep it between my ears and I don't share it, it builds up into this huge thing. We had this guy named Boris. He's not around anymore. He went back to Latvia. But Boris used to talk about a resentment in this super thick accent. He'd go, resentment is like a dime, very, very little thing, but you hold it up to your eye and it's all you can see. And I'd go, okay, Boris, that sounds dumb, but he was right, man. A resentment's real big, but when it's all you're focusing on, it's everything. It's literally all you can focus on. But when I talk about it with you guys, and when I talk about it with my friends, it gets put back into perspective, and it's a little tiny thing, and it was really nothing to worry about in the first place. But my best thinking will get me in trouble. So I got to bounce it off everybody else. So
Okay, analogies. That was good.
my wife's back there talking crap. Anyway, you know, Boris was one of those guys that he didn't stick around very long, but I've never forgot that little nugget of knowledge that he shared, you know, and I've picked up little things along this journey. Anything I say that's good, I probably heard it from somebody else, you know, and I've taken these little nuggets and I pass them on to the next guy and the next guy. And it's cool when every once in a while I hear somebody share something and I'm like, oh, hey, man, I guarantee you heard that from me. And I heard it from this guy who heard it from this, you know, it's cool, man. So thank you guys for the topic. And that's it.
Thanks, Caesar. That was some good stuff. I like Boris. That was a good analogy. I really like that. I'm going to let Tiffany share real quick, and then I'm going to give it to Johnny and Lisa.
Hey guys, Tiffany here. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. So it's really cool listening. A lot of times I share at the end, and it's kind of funny listening to everybody share because I think all these things as they're sharing because they pop in my head, right? But really, for me, accountability, it really comes down to, I mean, everybody's already touched base on a lot of it, but for me, where it applies in my life, growing up, I was the youngest of 3 children, and I got away with a lot of things because I would lie. And so it kind of started there, right? And then I got to like ages 10 through 16, 17, and I did a lot of lying. And I did it to get my way and to hide things that, you know, why all of us lie, right? And a person in my past started calling me a habitual liar. And he was like, dude, if I called you on the telephone and asked you if you were wearing a hair tie on your wrist, you would say no when you had one on your wrist and there's no reason for you to lie, but you would lie because you want to lie. And when he said that to me, of course, I was so offended and in disagreement to that. But it really hit me hard because I was like, well, damn, did some thinking on that. And over, you know, after I was told it, I started recognizing that pattern as I would talk to people in my family and friends and in my life. And I was like, wow, I really do lie for no reason, right? And then I went through that whole situation and I met a group of friends. And I chose in that moment, because of him saying that, I was like, I don't want to be like that anymore. So with this group of friends, which is actually how I met Justin, I decided I'm not going to lie to them. And it took practice, but they held me accountable. You know, I told them my issue. I told them what I was going to be trying to do. And, you know, they helped me kind of grow out of that, I guess you could say, because they held me accountable. And thankfully, from there, I've obviously still had issues with it throughout our relationship. And honestly, it's a part of my story with not being accountable to my word, you know? And yeah. And so it's nice having people around us to hold us accountable and to be accountable. 2 things that I just want to touch on is just the feeling that we get being accountable, giving our word, and like feeling like I used to have no self-worth, self-confidence, self-love, self-anything, because I just was so disgusted in everything I said and did. But it's because I was doing all those things that make you disgusted in someone, right? And I was doing it. So I was disgusted with myself. And now today I have self-worth. I love myself because I do what I say what I do. And I know that if I tell you something, I'm telling the same thing to the other person. So I don't have to worry about what I'm saying to who I'm saying it to. And I don't have to remember any of it because it's all the same stuff, right? And it's a really good feeling. Like, I mean, Nate talked about how magical. I mean, that in of itself for myself has been really magical to get to experience, because my entire life I've always been looking over my shoulder, you know, and trying to remember who I said what to and try to keep myself in line. And I was so uncertain of myself because of who and what I was saying and doing, right, and being. And today I'm not scared of myself anymore, you know, and I think that's really cool. Number 2, I had people around me when we came to the rooms and we kind of got our circle of friends and got close with them. I started to see people would, you know, we'd make plans, we'd try to make plans, and they'd be like, oh no, I'm sorry, I already have a commitment with so-and-so doing such and such, but you know, maybe we'll try for this date, right? And there was a few different times where that happened and it clicked in my mind. I was like, dude, that's really cool because now I know if I make plans with them, they're going to do the same thing for some, you know what I mean? They're going to give me that same respect. And I thought that that was really cool because it's like when we say no, because we already have prior commitments or, you know, we're holding ourselves accountable to anything that we say, other people see that. And I saw it, you know, and I was like, I like that. I don't know, that was cool. And then the last thing I'm going to end on with is Justin just asked me, I went and got this piece of paper. So this piece of notebook paper is from a notebook I had in college a few years back. And I don't know who wrote this. I wrote it down because I liked it. It says, those who reach integrity become self-affirming and self-accepting. They judge their lives to have been worthwhile and good. They are glad to live the life they live. And at the time I wrote it down because in all honesty, I didn't quite understand what integrity meant. So I went and Googled it and I still didn't understand what integrity meant. And so I've held on to this paper for a long time. And it's really cool today to be able to say, like, I get what integrity is. And I fully 100% understand and agree with and love that little saying. So anywho, that's it. Love you guys.
Thanks, Tiffany. All right, Johnny and Lisa, what's up?
Hey.
So I just want to touch on a little something real quick, and I'll give it to Lisa. But as everybody was sharing, I was thinking, you know, I too, like, I know what the word accountable meant, like, in the back of my mind, but I had absolutely nothing to pull from because I'd never been accountable in my whole life. The word integrity, I had a somewhat understanding of it, but those things were like foreign language to me. I didn't know the action of it, you know, and the coolest thing, man, for a dude like me is through this process of recovery, I learned this stuff. I didn't have any of it in my life until I reached a point of desperation and then, you know, started to explore recovery and something different, man. And I truly am grateful for that because the life that I have today is, I understand what these things mean. I know the action behind these things. I know how it affects me if I don't do it, and how it affects others if I don't do it. And, you know, I'm in a place today, man, where I want to continue to grow. You know, I always say this, man, but I don't, you know, I can't, just like Caesar was sharing about, you know, early in recovery, people start to trust you with stuff and you get these opportunities to be accountable on your own. It's like a test from God, you know, and I've had many of them, man. People put their trust in me and they gave me these opportunities. And those little opportunities over a long time have built this foundation for me where, like, I'm a trustworthy person. I'm a person in the community. I'm a guy who's been to prison 3 times, been to treatment 10 times. Like, you know, I'm a person who has learned this stuff in recovery, taken suggestions, followed the leader, surrounded myself with great people. And my life is fucking magical today because of it. There's no other explanation for it. It's God, others, and action, you know. And again, what Caesar was saying, man, we're such selfish human beings, man. And this thing was designed for people like us, you know, to make that change. And again, I couldn't fathom any of that stuff, you know. I've been around recovery for 25 years, but I've only been in recovery for 6.5, you know. And until I really started to do, you know, when I got to a point where I was out of ideas, I was in a place where I was able to start to learn to understand these things, man. And what an amazing, magical life just from following the leader, man. I don't know. I'm grateful. And my lovely wife's going to finish it up.
Thanks. So, like, the only thing that I really want to throw in there is we didn't really touch on, like, if we're the ones holding somebody accountable, you know? I feel like when somebody asks me that, it's like it's a lesson for me because I have to be accountable to remember to do that. But at the same time, if they're not, if say this person is not holding up their part, or if they're, let's just say somebody that I'm mentoring or sponsoring, and they ask me to hold them accountable for something, and they don't want to fulfill it, I don't push. This is their life. They are the ones choosing not to do something that they really wanted to do. And who am I to deny them of that guilt, that selfishness, or whatever it will create, I know that, like, for example, and after I got out of treatment, I gained like 60 pounds in treatment, and I was trying to go to the gym, right? And this girl that I met, in the recovery, she wasn't in treatment or anything, but she was going to the gym and she was calling me, and she's like, do you want to go? And I'd be like, yeah, well, I got to be to work in like 4 hours. No, I'm not going to go, and I would like throw her off, or just throw it off. And, but then she said something to me, which I think, was really powerful. She was like, you asked me to do this for you because you wanted to, succeed at something. You wanted the help. You're not taking advantage of it, so I'm done, and she put it out there. And that made me think, like, damn, this person went out of their way to
I think they disconnected their.
That was a mic drop.
Yeah, Mike. Wait, they're back.
Could you hear me though?
Yeah.
It's
Right up until you went away.
It's weird. Our new camera is like kicking off every
I
once in
don't
a
know.
while.
I don't know. So
Well, you look fantastic.
Thank you. It's great,
all nice
isn't
and
it?
clear.
I love it.
Yeah.
That was my Christmas present, Caesar.
Nice.
But
I'm
it's
sorry,
not-
Lisa. Go ahead.
Of course it is.
God. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to put that out there where, I think that when somebody asks me to like be there or listen or just, help them recognize something that they're not seeing, I take that as an honor. And, they obviously want my opinion, which nobody ever did before. They want my input, and I love being that to people. I love calling people out on their shit. Because I was that person, you know what I mean? But even when I do it to him, it's like, he just, whatever, don't hide. I don't know. You guys all said some really kick-ass stuff, and like, sorry, my first was a blowout, but yeah. Love you guys.
It's okay. It's after Christmas, man. We're all in like La La Land.
Cooked. I'm cooked.
Yeah. Jumping around here, there, doing stuff. One thing I can say about Caesar, he's very accountable to the gym because that dude goes on Christmas Day.
Man.
Goes
I
hard,
envy
bro.
that.
Goes
I
hard.
envy that
Me too.
accountability to yourself to do that because, like, I've been telling myself, I gotta go. And
For 5 years.
I'll be in the car driving, like, okay, I'm gonna go home. I used to go. Stop. I used to be like in the car driving home, thinking I'm gonna go home and get changed, and then come home and like forget because there's like a million things to do at home, and I don't go.
All right.
And it's something that I really want to work on. So I'm asking you all to hold me accountable.
Listen, I'm insane though, so just put that out there. Whenever I do something, like when I commit to it, yeah, addict mentality, I guess you would say. But I mean, I'm all in on it, and I will go at all costs. I mean, if I'm burnt out and I work 12 hours straight, my day's not done until I go to the gym. But
Like,
I did want to say,
like, I want that feeling to where like I go and like I feel complete, like it's part of my
Yeah.
day.
well, I
That's-
try to leave my frustrations in there too, like a long day of work, and I don't want to bring that into the house, if I'm feeling some type of way, and going and doing something physical helps, just get it out. And then I come home and I'm tired, but I'm in a decent mood, and it's better. So
So you got to get mad, Lisa.
yeah.
I don't know how to do that anymore, man.
Yeah.
Just body shame yourself in the mirror for a little while. It works great.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
She's
Totally
good at
good
that.
at that.
I'm just kidding. But, I did want to go back just a little bit when we were talking about being given the keys or being trusted with something. I know, man, for a long time, like, I felt like people were talking about somebody else when I got a compliment. Like, if somebody would say something nice to me about me, I'd be like, who? Oh, like my first anniversary, my old home group, they used to go around and everybody would say something about you. And I had to sit there and listen to like 20 people go, "Oh man, Caesar, you're a really good dude. And man, you're a great example of recovery." And I'm going, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
And I'm just waiting for the next one and the next one. And I didn't understand why they did that, because like I was like, what is this? Some kind of like ego boost or something? And I talked to somebody, they're like, as you get older or stick around long enough, it turns into more of a roast. It's my meditation. It is my meditation. But as you stick around, it turned into more of a roast, and people would bust your chops in the group, and it was fun. But he's like, early on, people need to understand how to take compliments. And if you're doing the right thing, you should hear that you're doing the right thing. But it took me years to be able to take a compliment without like self-deprecating, being like, nah, man, I'm just a piece of shit. Like that was like my answer to everything. They're like, "Oh man, you're such a good dude." Nah, man, I'm just a junkie, or just downplay anything nice that somebody said about me because it was foreign to me. And yeah. Oh, I'm sure I'm speaking for myself, but I'm sure it's a lot of us,
Oh yeah.
All of us.
Definitely.
It's so foreign to hear good things about ourselves.
What's one thing? Caesar, one thing is that they're done. Is that I always love celebrations when you hear those words, because I feel like it's affirmations, man. Because we don't have enough of those in like, in our lives, especially when we're doing the right thing and moving forward in life and all that those things, we don't want to hear it as much, but those things are what we need in order to know that we're on the right path and we're doing a good job. Because man, like, when do we actually that's one thing I love is like, we need to do that more often and just like talk about a person, all the good qualities they have and all the, you know what I mean? I mean, not to where it's like an ego driven deal, but like, we need those things to let us know, you know what I mean? That what people think about us, because all we see is negative all the time. Like, I love those celebrations. I love the affirmations. It's affirmation celebration, dude, of like your growth, of what you got going on. And even though it sucks and I don't like hearing people give me compliments, I freaking love them because it lets me know that I am doing a good job, that I am on the right path, that I am somebody. My worth gets built on those days. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I also practice is when somebody does give me a compliment, I say thank you, not try to freaking deflect, because I'm very good at deflecting, So I just want
let me tell Nate something.
Uh-oh.
So when my girls were opening the presents and stuff in the morning, we were like, "Hey, Nate's coming over in a little while," and they were like, "Oh yes, Nate's the best!" And they got so excited, like and I know Justin and Tiff's kids feel the same way. Yeah. And it's like, I know, I knew it was going to get you, but I mean, you need to hear it, man. Like, you just are one of those people that brightens other people's day.
My parents said the same thing,
including children. They get excited when you come around. I get excited when you come around. You're really, you're a blessing, man. And everyone on here is truly a blessing. But Nate, you're special, bro. You bring some.
Nate's the cherry on top.
Yeah,
cherry on top.
you just, you bring some energy that's much needed.
Yeah, and
Appreciate
you make
you. Love you.
Agreed.
and you make the kids feel like they're a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not
Oh,
just
yeah.
there. You know.
I'll say thank you.
Yeah.
Oh!
Take it all in, bro.
Growth.
Me and Nate were talking today. I was on a job with a client, right? And we were just talking about this today. I still struggle with it, man. So for me, I get to do some of this work and work with some people, and I got called to a job last night, right? And I was unsure, going in, and Lisa said, "You're going to kill it. You're going to do what it needs to be done." And that's it. And I'm like, I'm just going to go and do the best I can. And I went, and the experience was amazing. And then, like, a person who's a clinician who I look up to, who is like a world-renowned person in this game, and she said, "Man, that was great work that you did," And I it was through text, so I sat on my phone thinking about how do I, and exactly what I did was I said thank you, and that's it, and that's the stuff. And we talked about it, like, okay, we don't need that stuff, but it is amazing because it reassures us that we're doing the right thing, because sometimes we'll question ourselves, or and it's amazing, man. It's everybody struggles with it.
And just considering where we've come from, we're not used to it. It's still, I don't think, for me, I don't think I'll ever get used to people telling me how well I'm doing, or what an impact I have on people, or whatever. I doubt myself a lot, so, and because of how many years living the way I did, I can't, in my head, I'm like, I can't be that person. I still kind of picture myself back then, and I feel like that keeps me humble though at the same time, but I've learned to say thank you when people say stuff, I've learned to just say, smile and thank you. And like, not as uncomfortable as it is, but somebody told me a long time ago, just say thank you. Cause I was like, I hate when people say things like that because I don't see it, I don't know, but I tried it and I continued to do it and just appreciate it and maybe listen to them once in a while, and kind of love yourself more.
And that's one thing, is like, we're the last ones to ever see anything that we're doing. So like, those affirmations is what we need. You know what I mean? Just like we were told our whole life, you're a piece of shit and this, that, and the other thing, because we really were. You know what I mean? We didn't think so, like, I was doing this dirt, but I just, you're screwed up. You're nodding out everywhere. And I'm like, no, I wasn't.
Hey, and you know what's crazy, Justin? Like, as many times as I told I was a piece of shit, I was a junkie, I was a convict, I would immediately agree. I'm like, yeah, I know. But now today, they say, hey, Nate, you're a great dude, man. I'll be like, stop the madness, or some, use some type of fucking humor to deflection.
Ernie.
Oh, it's cool
Ernie
though.
in there.
All these affirmations that all of us get, today is because of accountability.
Ooh, way to spin that back around. I like that.
She's good at spinning stuff.
But, I like what Lisa said. I don't want to glaze over what Lisa said. We all have, I relate to Lisa. I have that thing in my head that says that I'm not, I doubt myself. I'm not good enough still. I still picture myself years ago, it's my internal picture. But there is some good to that, because we tend to outwork everybody, and it makes our value go up, because I'm like, man, if I don't work really hard, and if I'm not really good at this, then what? Oh no, and it lights a fire under my ass all the time. It's not all bad. I mean, it's not great to have a shitty self-image, but there is some value to it, because it tends to make us the hardest workers in the room.
Keeps our feet planted, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for tonight. It was a good topic, man. I love, what I love about what we do? We do these topics, man. Like, we got to put something on the board, right? But it always spins. It spins. 'Cause, and no matter how you look at it, it all ties back into, how we're living, and it just, I love the spin-offs, it's a
The
spin-off.
open forum at the end is always the solid gold when we all start
Yeah.
spitballing.
But yeah, we just need something to talk about first, you know what I mean?
I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
We always-
Great job.
Freestyle sessions are the best ones.
Oh yeah, man, I love it. Because then it really gets into it.
Anybody out there has a topic that they want to, want us to talk about or wants to be involved in, maybe come on.
We will run that.
Definitely message us about something they want heard or talked about.
Yeah, yeah. If they have a topic, and if you guys want to jump on here with us and talk with us, man, it'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
you could bring the topic in.
bring the topic and jump on with us, and let's talk recovery.
Love you, Angel.
We would love for anybody that would like to come on with us, man. It'd be awesome to have everybody that's watching us, that comments, that supports us, come on here with us and let's talk. It'd be really cool. So if you guys want to have a topic, or if you want to join us, just message us, please, and come on here with us next Sunday.
Yes.
It'd be really cool.
Is that Maddie?
But that's it for tonight, guys. This Wednesday, we're gonna have our Addiction to Success series, where we're gonna have Mike F. is gonna come on here and share his story on his recovery journey, and we hope you guys join us 8 p.m. this Wednesday. And that's it. So good night, guys. Love y'all.
Night.
See ya.
Well,